Alright, hey guys, and welcome back. Today I want to do a video on a kind of introductory guide to Shadowland. So this is a guide for new players. If you are a veteran or you have cleared Shadowland before, then most of what you're going to see has, something that you probably already know, or you pretty much understand. So there are some tips and tricks to clearing Shadowland, and if you guys are new to Shadowland, I suggest that you follow some of these tips and tricks, and it might take you to a floor that was a lot further than you thought you could reach. Now, first things first, Shadowland could seem a little bit intimidating to those who have not tried it before. It could seem like a lot of work and a lot of effort, but Shadowland is one of, I would say, the most beloved game modes because it offers you a lot of variety in the sense where it lets you use your entire roster to the fullest. Um, because we have like what more almost 200 characters in the game, and what's the point of just building like 5 teams to do world boss every day? And in Shadowland instead we get to use up to 30 different characters in 30 different teams to clear the first 30 floors. And then if you have more characters, or you don't use all of them in a team, you can clear higher than floor 30. So first things first, I want to show you what happens when you click enter Shadowland. You will see one of 3 options. So if you come first, it may seem like this to you. Click on the stage info, and then you will get to see a more detailed view. So keep this ticked for the most part. You would not want to see the non informatory version unless you're just rushing through it. So once you have ticked stage info, you will get to see 3 options. So there are a few different types of modes in Shadowland. At the top here, you see relay mode. So relay mode basically is where you have one character that is taking on several enemies, and then the enemies kind of switch in as another one dies. So you have like 2 enemies fighting, and then the next one switches in, and the last one switches in accordingly. But on your team, only one character fights at one time. So this is the first type of mode that you need to take note of. There is another mode that allows you to use 3 characters against three of the opponents or enemies characters, and that one is called Rumble. And in Rumble mode, you can actually have a 3v3 fight, which is kind of like in Conquest, except the enemy will usually have 1 or 2 extra characters that will switch in when one of the first 3 die. So these are the 2 basic modes. And then later on you have a unique one, which is like boss mode, and then you have a 2-turn battle like Conquest, where you take on 3 characters and then you take on another 3. So you use 6 of your characters to fight 6 of them, just like in Alliance Conquest. So first things first, very important in Shadowland is to read the advantage that your characters need to have. So if you're taking on this field boss, like the speed one here, which I usually go for, you need combat type characters, which means if you use blast or speed, you will only do 1 damage per hit. All right, which means it's pointless to use a speed or a blast. Universal characters, however, are unique in the sense where they can do any type of mode. They can do, again, they can do blast advantage, they can do speed advantage, they can do combat advantage, and universal characters will always do normal damage. This is the one unique thing about them in Shadowland. So universal characters are of an important value. So let's say I go into a mode here. Now I have this character marked as clear. This means I've previously used this character to clear this stage. Now this is just kind of a shortcut to allow you to fill in your characters, but this will not always work, because you see this cleared in previous session. This will not show if all the 3 relay options, or rather all the 3 floor options are different. So now I see one speed, one combat, one blast. Sometimes there's like two villain, one hero. Sometimes there's one that says one villain and then you need a really strong team, a really strong team, something like that. So if all the three options are different, then I will not see this. So for the first 5 floors, you don't have to worry about that changing much. It's usually just very basic rock paper scissors. So we're gonna pick one of these 3v modes now. So very important to note is always try to save your universal characters in case you come to a stage where you don't have enough of other types of characters to clear. So make sure you have a good handful of universals and also supervillains. Supervillain characters are also important because you will come across certain flaws that you can only use supervillains and you can't use anything else. So make sure you save a good handful of supervillains. Another important thing is also female characters. This is also a unique requirement in some stages. So if your character is female, you're filtering out to get combat types. Try not to accidentally drop a female character and lose them, and then you can't use them in a further stage. So these are the 3 important requirements. You can see all of them when you click this tab. So supervillain is important, female is important, and universal is important. The rest of them, just make sure that you are using whichever you have the most of. So let's say I were to go to combat. I can see that I have about easily 18 combat heroes that are useful for me. Then for speed, I have another 18. For blast, I have slightly more than 18. And then lastly for universal, I have only about 12. So I don't really count most of these tier 1s because most of them are trash. You can use tier 1s to clear certain stages like Anti-Man. You can definitely clear a stage with him, but I'm not counting them for now because using tier 1 characters to clear Shadowland is definitely possible, but you need to use the stronger tier 1s. Like you need to use like maybe Anti-Man, you need to use like maybe a Ronin with a uniform, you need to use a properly fitted Quasar, you need to use maybe let's say Ancient One, characters that are naturally strong even at tier 1. Agent Venom maybe at tier 1, stuff like that. So if you don't have these particular characters, then you're gonna struggle a bit. But when the character is tier 2, almost every character can clear uh, most of the floors in Shadowland, especially until floor 25. Between 25 to 30 is a bit of a struggle, so I will come to that later on. And above floor 30 is very unique. You can use above floor 30, it comes back to like normal floors, like between 10 to 20, but the difficulty is somewhere between floor 15 to 25. That's kind of the way I can put it. So you can keep clearing past 30 to 50, 60, 70, and all of this, the difficulty is between floors 15 to floors 30, and they slowly scale up, but the types of modes you get are very similar to earlier floors, and you can cycle them using gold or something like that. Alright, anyway, that's the gist of it. So I'm gonna try to use a free-to-play clear as much as possible, which means I will not be using any premium characters or paywalled characters. I will, however, use bioselector characters as if I need to, and then I'll try to not use the strongest. So for a start, you want to make sure that you don't use your strongest characters. For obvious reasons, you need them at higher floors. So first things first, since I have a good number of blast characters, I'm going to try to clear this stage with the weakest blast character that I have. So even though your character, even though you're looking for the weakest character, you must make sure your character is still capable of clearing this floor. You don't want to throw in a character that for certain will not survive this floor. Like for example, my Ulysses Claw. I think he can clear this stage, but he will struggle a bit because I don't have anything fitted onto him. So we are just gonna go in and try it out. I might have thrown a gear, I need to check. So as you can see, I can fit 3 characters, and if I do that I will get like a bonus reward, but the reward is really bad. So if you can use one character, just go ahead. So let me just do that and throw in my skills. Oops, I think I turned the volume off, so let me turn that back on. Okay. Hope that was not too bad. So yeah, Claw is doing reasonably well. He's doing pretty low damage, as you can see, since he doesn't have any gears or anything special on him. But I can still clear this floor with him with a little bit of difficulty, and this is what I want. I don't want the clear to be too easy for me, because I want to make sure I'm using the weakest characters that I have. Now take note that this Ulysses Claw is a super villain, which means that he will be of importance to me later on should I need him. But considering the fact that he's not the best supervillain that I have, I will most likely not be using him. Because when you come across the supervillain stage, it doesn't have a unique requirement like combat supervillain or speed supervillain. It just says supervillain, so it doesn't matter what supervillain you use. You can use any of them as long as you have prepared them well enough. So we are doing reasonably well here. This should be quite a straightforward floor. I think we can clear this easily. Almost dying, but still we're doing it pretty well. We're definitely doing it. So we don't want to take too much risks. Oh, and we died. Yeah, so that's good in the sense where I know I'm using a character that barely clears it. I just have to play a little bit better and I can get it done. So this is the kind of target you want to have. You don't want to take a character that's going to clear this in 2 seconds like Sharon Rogers, and then not have a stronger character to clear a higher stage. So that is very important. Where on earth did I drop Ulysses Claw? Wait, what? Did I miss? Oh yeah, sorry. So give me a sec. Ah, yes, that's something interesting. So I realized that I was using a combat. Wait, I was using a supervillain, right? Let's go to Ulysses Claw. Where is he? Where is he? There we go. So I was using a blast against this stage. Wait, no, sorry, not this one. What was I doing? Yeah, okay, go ahead. My bad. Okay, sorry. So yeah, I was using Claw against this stage, right? So we're gonna try to do it again, and it's important that you don't rush your Shadowland stages. What I wanted to say actually was, yes, okay, so Claw actually has these summons, right? So you will notice that I'm a blast character, but when I make my summons are combat. And can you see them doing only 1 damage? So that's because of their typing. So you need to make sure that you use the required typing or use a universal. So that's basically it. So you have certain characters that are unique like this, like Ayo, Crescent and Ayo, and then you have Kid Kaiju, who have these summons that are of different types. Even Ant-Man has an ant summon. If you have one of his earlier uniforms, you will summon an ant. So those have different types, which means they will only do 1 damage if they are not the required type for the stage. So you have to be a little bit alert. As for Kid Kaiju is a speed type, but his summon is universal, which means that you can, you need the uniform to do it, but yeah, his summon is universal, so his summon will do damage regardless. So that's something important to take note of. So you will learn a lot more about your characters by playing Shadowland, which is really cool. Something that you don't get to do. Okay, Cap's just kidding me. Something you don't get to do in a lot of other game modes. So we're just gonna go ahead and try to dish it out again. So sometimes it takes a few attempts. I remember trying to clear stage 1 with like my Ant-Man, like way back when he was still an ally shifter in like Dimension Rift, right? Which is the worst way to get him. So there's sometimes it takes a bit, but yeah, Nonetheless, I think as we play, we will learn his rotation a little bit better. We are learning that his first skill stuns, his second is a little bit of a guard break. So these are things that will help us. As you can see, I'm going to stun them, get the summons in, get the guard break a little bit. So this is going to help us. Yep, think we are doing a lot better by knowing these rotations. So you're gonna iframe out of that. We took a lot of damage from that. We better be careful. And then we're trying to gonna get this one before they kill me. Let's get the whistle in. Let's get the stun off. Let's go for Cap because he's the one that's controlling the fight most of the time, and we don't want to die to him. And as I said, that I died. Okay, not as easy as I thought. Regardless, you can do some minor tweaks to your character to help you, and I will show you a little bit of that. Where's Claw? Where's Claw? There you are, Claw. So something useful that you can do. Do I have it? Yeah, I have nothing on him. It's just butt naked. So yeah, something useful you could do is level up a particular skill that may help your character. Like this one is going to increase the duration of my guard hits and increase my illusions damage. But then you have to think, am I going to do that much more damage with my illusions, since they only do 1 damage anyway. So there are certain things like that. They may help you on certain characters because some of them increase their guard hit. Like Beast skill will increase the buff that he provides to his allies. So there are certain things like that that you may be able to increase to try to win. So this is what I was talking about, the bonus reward. So if you have 3 characters that are all 6 stars, you get bonus reward. They're absolute trash. Just close your eyes on this. Don't even bother. Just try to do your best with the minimum that you have. So today we're just gonna try to sniffle our way through to try to maybe clear, I don't know, floor 5 maybe. So we will try to get to 5. Shouldn't be as bad as it sounds, even though we're dying here several times, but we should be able to get to it, I think. Just a matter of trying to see our luck. There's also a lot of important things like positioning that makes a difference. Getting the enemies in a corner is very useful. Using skills that have stun and guard break will definitely improve the fight for you. So that's something that you can probably take note of. There's also another little trick, which is trying not to kill all the enemies too early, just so you could get sniffle out maybe Captain America or Spider-Man. Especially, you want to avoid them as much as possible. So you don't want to kill one at a time because you want to make sure Spider-Man is faced alone. Like you take him out a 1v1, something like that. It looks like we won't be able to make it here. This will be very close actually. So I'm just gonna whistle here and try to get the stun off before I do my 5th. That might help me a little bit. Maybe I can get my 4th and then the stun. Managed to do that. Let's get the guard hit in. Let's get the 5th before I die. Let's get the 4th and then a stun. So now we're gonna try to keep him locked in the stun as much as we can. So we don't want him to be summoning Bucky, because that's kind of the problem here, I think. Bucky is speed type and he's kind of killing me. So anyway, we were a lot closer that time. So eventually, if you build him maybe a little bit of rotation differences, we should be able to clear that stage. So we're gonna go in one more time, and this time I'm gonna make a little bit of a change. I'm going to see if I can improve Claw's character in any little way. I probably just need to add some damage onto him, and that should help. Let's see. I don't want to upgrade his skill because I'm not going to use him that much, but I could possibly throw some trash on him and see if it works. So red, blue, green, so I'll do that. Yeah, so let's get a red in, let's get a blue in, let's get a green. Oh, it's not quite high level. Okay, so I just got an ISO set working. Do I have any trash gears? Yeah, I guess this is okay. Yep, just gonna throw that in, and now you're gonna go back and try. So you just need 30 characters, and I'm doing this just assuming that you have exactly 30 and you need to, like, struggle a little bit. So if you're doing that, then you probably have to, really cherish the 30 that you have and try to make the best of them. But of course, if you have a team that's already well fitted, maybe all tier 2s, then this will be easy for you. Don't feel intimidated if you've never done it. And if you're a new player, you definitely have Sharon Rogers at tier 2, and she alone can clear the last floor if you build her properly. So you gotta make sure that it's not all just about levels and tiers. You gotta make sure you have the right equipment on them, the right gear sometimes, and it really changes the way some characters work. I'll give you an example later. One of it is Craven the Hunter. Craven has a really nice skill that kind of plays out really well if you have the invincibility on him. If you don't have the invincibility, he becomes a little bit difficult to use. As you see right now with my claw, I'm trying to play around with my invincibility, but it doesn't trigger so well, so I'll be a little bit careful. Let's see, I have it on my gear, right? Not sure why it's not really triggering. Do I have this? Yeah, my HP is below 30%. It should trigger. Strangely, it's not. Nonetheless, I think we got this. Yeah, so very slight difference made by that little change in gear. And okay, we get to see a bit of cuts, like a cutscene. Yeah, okay. Talk to Matt. And they had to end with a joke. Alright, we go to floor 2. So now I'm just going to rush through 2 to 5. Just wanted to show you guys to have the mentality to not give up, which is very, very important. So here you can see that I don't have previously cleared showing up. That's because all these 3 have changed in some way. So now I don't want to delay too long. This is very important to take note. You will sometimes have this criteria that says reflect physical attacks, blast type characters. Don't be mistaken, some of your blast characters do have physical. One example is Sharon Rogers. Some people use her at a very high stage, and then they think that she should be able to do it, and then she dies instantly, and then they wonder why. Sometimes it could be due to the reflect physical attack, and you might wonder, like, what, really? Sharon has physical? So let me just show you what I mean. So if you go to her skills, you have physical damage of energy attack, and then this one says energy damage of energy attack, physical damage of energy. So you can see that she has a mixture, 3 physical skills and 2 energy skills, and although she requires energy attack, she does do some physical damage. So if you have physical damage, this one, although it says physical attack, it will still reflect your damage and it will get you killed. So I don't want to demonstrate with Sherlock, but that's pretty much how it works. So you have to read your character's skill description if they're dying, and then you'll probably know why. So you're gonna go for this one. We're gonna just filter the combat. Let's see what's the worst one we got. I think America Chavez is my worst. She's got a good leadership. So this is a rumble mode. It's just the one. It says up to 4 characters, but don't believe it. Up to 6 characters will battle at once, which is 3 of yours versus 3 of the enemies. So you could throw in really weak combats just to get the 3 6-star character bonus. But if you don't have enough characters, then don't waste them and use one strong character. But it does ease out the floor a bit. And I mean, if your characters are pretty bad, you could throw them here, get the reward, and then move on. That'll be an easy way to clear the stage. So I am going to try to clear this using these 3, because they have what, Wolf Instinct? Seriously? Do they have anything better than that? Probably not. Okay, we will see if we can do this. I don't think we can, but we will try. Alright, you never try, never know. Alright, here we go. Let's get the third off because we get the invincibility. Hey, I remember her rotation somehow. Sounds almost like I've played her before. I actually just used her in Shadowland on a slightly higher floor. So she should be able to do this eventually because we're doing a lot of damage. But knowing Chavez, she has a dangerous weakness, which is the gaps in her iframes. So that's something to take note when using her. And I used her just purely as a leader, I think, in one floor. Then decided to just play her and see how she works out. The skills are pretty cool, and all the way they see. They have long iframe animations and stuff like that. But they have a gap in their iframes, which is the danger in using her. So now it's just 1 versus 1. As long as she doesn't iframe too much. Okay, she did. So you saw we hit the third, we went into the invincible, but she managed to iframe out of that, so that's pretty scary, right? Okay, since we were pretty close, I'm gonna go back and try it again. Maybe we'll get to do it, just maybe. So let's get the 5th off first this time, and then see if we can get as much damage as we need to. Let's get the 3rd, and then let's get the 4th going. So the 4th apparently also has an iframe, right? Yeah, it ends with an iframe. The 1st has slightly better iframe than the 2nd. So I'm gonna do 3rd into 2nd, and then I'm gonna go 4th, and then 5th. Hopefully we don't die during that little gaps there. Let's get the 3rd into 2nd. Let's try to get some 1st off. Actually, we don't need to. We can skip 1 skill, so I think we'll skip the 2nd skill. But it does some damage though. Alright. Yeah, that gap in the iframe is gonna kill me. So I could possibly get a gear on her to try to see if that covers up for the gap in the iframe. But yeah, that's probably gonna be the death of me here. Okay, we managed to corner her, which is great. So now it's just a battle against time, which shouldn't be so bad. I think we can get Elsa. Okay, now we should be able to stun lock the last one. The only danger we have is the iframe, so we have to be careful of that because she's going to be able to dodge our invincible if we are not too careful, and we don't want that. Yep. Okay, she's too fast. Okay, so there is that to take note. Yeah, by the way, this stage, the one that says heroes have an advantage, this one's a pretty tough stage because as you can see there's Wiccan and Songbird, and they have a lot of disables, so try to avoid that stage if you can. But if you can go ahead to face it, and just go ahead. I mean, it's kind of your choice, just giving you the options. Let's see, maybe we can change this by putting Carnage in there. It might give us the extra damage instead of having Werewolf die all the time. Carnage is pretty much quite useless, unfortunately, for a premium character. I hope they really rework some of their very bad premiums, because I got him like at 1 star and then like 6-starred him with a ticket, and I got absolutely nothing out of it. So it's kind of sad in that sense. Alright, let's try to see if we're doing okay. I think we're doing okay. We're just taking a little bit of damage because of the mistiming of our 3rd and 4th there. Let's try to keep the 4th and 5th going. Yeah, I think we can stick to the 3, maybe a little bit of 2, and then 4 into 5. Okay. Can we get this? She's still iframing? Okay, that's amazing. So Carnage apparently is doing a lot better than I thought. And he's probably going to help us clear this stage, which is great. So there we go. So you saw the additional rewards, 20k gold, a little bit of dimension debris. Seriously not worth putting too many characters on. So if you don't have enough characters, try to save them. So let's see what we used here. We used Silk to clear this stage. I think we can just do that again. So we used 1 blast, We used combats, 3 combats, but 2 of them were trash. And then now we're going to use speed, and this is once again a relay, so it's 1 versus 3. I have a tier 2 silk. You guys could use whatever, whatever suits the need of the situation. Craven the hunter can do this, but he's a villain and he's pretty good, so I'm going to save him. I think not Kate Bishop. I think Spider-Gwen with a uniform can at tier 1, so can Miles with a uniform, but without the uniform, not so good. So I'm going to use Silk. She's not, my Silk in particular is not very well built. I will just show you what I have on her. No gear, cheap ass ISO set, nothing very special, but she's tier 2, which makes a big difference. So we're gonna go in and just quickly clear the stage, then we're gonna go to 4 and 5. Let's get the shield off, which didn't help at all, but still gave us some life. Let's try to dodge that. Okay, so the thing about this stage is you want to try to clump these guys together because you don't want Star-Lord doing too much damage from where he is. So to do that, you gotta kind of attack him from his direction, but he's going to keep iframing. So let's just try to get to Star-Lord's side, and then let's try to keep it that way. Oh, and you gotta be careful of Rocket's heal on, with Groot. So now I'm just gonna finish that off, which is great. Now the Star-Lord's dead. The only real problem here is gonna be Iron Man. Since these two are sticking together, that's great for us. Gonna do so much more. Just keep Iron Man in the web so that we don't die. Oh, and we died from vision apparently, which is interesting. So as you saw, my Silk doesn't stand a chance unless I actually get the skills off at the right timing and play it carefully. So it's still very much a minimalistic approach. I know she's tier 2, but she's still pretty trash unless you build her. So this time let's go to Star-Lord's side and let's start off with that. That was a great start. Let's get that off, get some damage in. So we don't want to split them off too much. We want to try to kind of stay on this side so that we get to kill him. We killed him a lot faster this time, which I think is going to help us. And let's try to get him out of the heal, which is great. Let's keep the webbing, the shield up. Okay, now we're trying to get ready to kill, to take on Iron Man. You have to be very careful with Iron Man because he has a lot of iframes and he does a lot of damage. So keep him webbed up as much as you can. So you want to get your 5th off as quickly as possible. Yep, and that's the difference. It's just a matter of how you play it and your positioning sometimes. These are the things you gotta really look to. Alright, so this one says I cleared previously using Craven because my Craven's tier 1 and I probably can't do a very high stage with him. So this one requires 2 stages of villains and 1 that says take on charge with a formidable team. So now this stage requires you to use a slightly stronger hero, not so easy, which is why it says formidable. So these 2 are the villain stages, the early ones that you can clear. So between these 2 stages, I chose this one because Craven is speed, which means he has advantage against 2 of these enemies. So nothing really in particular. If you have a super villain like maybe a tier 1 Morgan or maybe tier 1 Ronin that's all maxed out and you want to clear this stage, you can go ahead. Just take note that this Ronin, the one that's in floor 4, may have resist to mind damage or something like that. So you may not do that much damage. It's just something to be careful about. So don't try not to use Mysterio, try not to use I think Ronin, maybe a few others. So these are things you will see when you go into the stage itself. Just take note of it. But for now we're gonna go into this one. We're gonna use our Craven tier 1 and then we're gonna try to clear it. So let's do that. So I hope you guys kind of understand the gist of Shadowland and how amazing it is, and how I actually hope that they improve this game mode in a lot of ways, because there's still a lot of room for improvement, I feel. And I mean, it's pretty much one of the best game modes we have, because it doesn't require you to go super whale into anything just to be able to accomplish a task. It just requires you to learn to play more of your characters a little better. That's kind of the gist of it. Alright, let's go. Let's get this done. So let me know what you guys, let me know in the comments what you guys normally use to clear certain stages. Let me know if you guys have any character that you discovered can actually, do really well in Shadowland, but sucks at a lot of other things. Some new meta characters or something like that. And I would be interested to know. Trying not to take damage from the mobs. So as you can see here, I'm keeping my targeting on Hela as much as possible, because I don't want to end up like that. I don't want to end up targeting the mob, so I'm going to pull him back here so I can finish her off. Now that she's finished, we can deal with the rest of these mobs. Alright, we got it. Now let's get to the last one. So Kraven is one I was talking about, which I have an invincible gear on him, and that gear, it doesn't make that much of a difference right now, but when his life is low, it makes a big difference, in the sense where it allows me to transition between my iframes while being invincible. So it really helps. So as you can see, I'm trying to get the damage into Maximus as he's trying to dodge me. I'm trying not to let him escape, so I'm keeping him stunned with my second, and then we got him. That's it. So that's pretty cool. Tier 1 Kraven, useful in Shadowland, easy to farm, special mission, and you get a lot of other rewards, I think, from the special mission. Right, as you can see here, there's no previously cleared, which means all three are different. So we just spent one villain. Yeah, we just spent one villain. I don't want to count Claw because I can't really use Claw at high stages, he sucks. So we just spent one villain, and we probably have not that many more. Let me just check tier 1 first. So we have Mysterio, Anti-Man. I'm not going to use Anti-Man because he's premium, so I'm not going to use him. So we don't have... Yeah, these two are not... I mean, my Hela is not properly fitted, neither is Baron Model, so I only have Mysterio, and then everyone else here at tier 2, so I need at higher stages. You need to keep at least 3 or 4 to clear the higher stages, which I have enough, so I can probably use this in a bit. So let's see, now we're going to do one of these two. So it says reflect physical, so take note of that. Between these two stages, I would say that the Hulks do a lot more damage, but they are very melee oriented, which means they have to come very close to your character to do anything. So you could use the last character like maybe Cyclops at tier 1, just stand in one corner and 5th skill, and they'll all die, because when they try to run to you, your beam is just going to keep holding them back. I'll just show you, and I'll try to cancel it. Hopefully he doesn't kill them off before I cancel it, because he's quite strong. So yeah, I'll just show you what I mean. If you have him at tier 1, you can still do this. It absolutely works. So you just go to one corner and then 5th. And as you can see, because they're melee, they're going to keep getting chain stunned, and they won't be able to approach me. So yeah, that's it. If I continue now, he's just going to clear the stage right away. So I'm going to change the character. So yeah, you could do that. It's absolutely legit, and it's hilarious. So yeah. So let's see. This is Rumble mode, which means I can use 3 characters. Probably will not. I could just use Ancient one. Let's see. I do have a good number of blast. I could use Ancient one, but I feel that he can clear a higher floor. Mantis is good as well. She's respectable in terms of her 5th skill, which has great crowd control. I think I'll show you Mantis, and then we'll call it a day. Then I'll probably come back with floors 5 to 15, I guess, or something like that. So we're going to use the 5th, which, as you can see, applies this blinded effect to enemies, or fear. Okay, applies to fear. And basically, as long as you have the 5th up, your enemies are not going to attack you. So you want to keep your 5th up as much as possible. You want to use all your other skills, and then when your 5th is going to end, you're going to go into your 4th iframe and then get your 5th back up. So you're going to keep doing this as part of Mantis's rotation. Just try not to get killed in between that little gap. So as you can see, I'm doing very little damage, but this is a great way to clear this floor minimally. As you can see, if I come out of that little gap of iframe, it's just gonna beat the shit out of me. So yeah, I'll be a little bit careful about that. Let's get the laser going, and then 5th again. Get the 1st going. Heal myself up a little bit. Let's get the 1st again. 4th to 5th. Great. I think we're doing some progress here. So you can keep spamming, Mantis's 5th like this. You could even use her at floors that have like how can I put this, rumble modes, where you need a good supporter to clear the floor, and Mantis will just fear everyone and you can clear it. This is like, I'm talking like really higher floors where timing is an issue. You can use Mantis to just get the 5th off and then use your DPS to kill the rest, assuming your DPS needs some kind of support. You can use any of the Spider-Man, you can use Doc Ock even to clear a certain floor if you feel that, sorry, not to clear, but to be on the team on certain floors, because you need webbing, because webbing is good crowd control. Alright, now we cleared floor 5, we get the 60 BIOS selector. And that's pretty much it for this video, so I'm gonna end it here. So as I showed you guys, you have to keep trying sometimes, and it's important to use the minimum possible ability to clear, so that you can save the strong characters for higher stages. Now, of course, I don't really have to, because I have like I think about what's this, 9, 18, 20, I have about 30 characters I can easily clear these floors, but since this video is mostly for new players, I hope that you guys learn something from this, and maybe you guys will figure out that you could have actually gone to a much higher floor, and it's just that you never really tried or didn't really know how to, but now you guys have the tips in general. So do let me know if this helps you, and I'll be back with 6 to 15, and then we'll probably go 15 to 25, and then 25 to 30 plus to end it. So that's it from me for today. Thanks for watching. Adios.